guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're jumping back into some more FTB Skies, and today we're going to be getting ourselves a mob grinder going here in the nether, and we're also going to be setting up some teleportation. Hopefully you guys are ready. So today I've started work on a little bit of a side project, aside from getting even further into the mob farms and going to nether, which is what we're going to do today. But starting right off the bat, I do want to pop over to my little compact machine over here. And what I want to think about is how I can go about sending all kinds of resources, all of these automated resources with the pedestals, into our drawer system, which is linked to this chest. So this area is all about sieving. You can see I've even added my in-stone here, and I do have in-stone now being sieved. But I want to take a bunch of hoppers, I think, and we'll just set this up, and I'm going to have these guys upside down, and I think that should work and should be able to hopper them. So for example, there'll be a line of hoppers that are running around here, and we're going to have each of these material types set up. So just to start right here, this is where a pedestal is going to go, and if I put it on the bottom, it still acts the same way and should still generate, but it's generating now on the bottom. And if I put a hopper down here, I'm hoping that I can get it to hopper into this chest. So let's go ahead and test and find out. So is this going to hopper? And yes, it does hopper, as you can see. Now I just noticed I might have a bit of a problem with ice, because ice can melt and these walls are basically lights. So I'm going to skip ice for now. I was going to get snow that way, but I think I'd probably be better off doing it some other way. Yeah, because I have a feeling it's just going to melt and spill everywhere. So with the majority of the material set up here, I should be able to just turn this on. Well, so long as I don't have this in my offhand. I keep going back and forth between dimensions. Oh boy. But yeah, as you can see, it is generating all kinds of resources. We're going to have gravel and flint come out of this. And I'll just have to watch my ender chest and fill this up. Now this is going to produce cobble. If I absolutely wanted this to produce, we might end up having two, because I need a pick with silk touch or some sort of silk touch, and then this will turn to stone. But you can see that turns to clay. You gotta love it. I mean, this is producing all kinds of resources that are going to be a necessity, I think, especially moving forward. And they're all automated. Like, how awesome is that? It doesn't get any simpler. Now, by this point, you should understand why I am using these hoppers. Think of them as a very fast pipe. They are incredibly fast, and I don't have to do any finicky thing with them. I can just let them work. And look at that. These are all going to disappear because this is all going to run incredibly fast. Now, I've got to get all of this stuff sorted. Oh boy, is there a lot to get sorted here. And I've got to get all of this out of here and put into these drawers. Now, on all of these, we definitely want to make the void upgrades, and you can make void upgrades really easy. Make the auxiliary cactus. It is just a cactus with iron, and you can convert this cactus into the void upgrade. And back and forth, right? So way cheaper than using all of this obsidian. You want void upgrades because with setups like this, it relies on them. Because if this fills up in any way, since it's all infinite generating resources, if it fills this chest up, everything stops working. So we may have to make sure that everything that's over here has a void upgrade on it. Now, with that little project out of the way, let's get back into Industrial 4 going and get ourselves some nether farms going. These are going to be incredibly important for getting things like blaze and blaze rods, and ultimately increasing the amount of lava that we are going to be able to produce. Now, I think starting out in the nether, I want to try out this mechanical dirt. Now, I've not experienced or experimented with it with a torch, because I kind of want to keep the torch that we have going that prevents mob spawns. So if we go to Torch Master, which is what the mod is from, that is what we are using to prevent mob spawns over there. So it prevents natural spawning hostile monsters, but I think this might bypass that. And if this doesn't, the Dreadful Dirt might do it, the one we're using down in our mob farm below. Now to make this, I'm going to need some rotten flesh, some dirt, and these machine frames, the pity machine frames. Very easy. Now to set up automation for this, just a simple like semi-automation without using refined storage, it's best to have a drawer set up and to configure your inputs. And then as soon as we get it in, so let's see, let's go ahead and craft up a couple of these. I need enough for a 3x3 area. So I think 9 of these would be sufficient for at least testing. We can always expand later on. But let's go ahead and get the rest of the recipe in, right? So we need rotten flesh and dirt. Rotten flesh and dirt. And we also are going to need a few things. We're going to need a couple of buckets of this fluid. Or you know what? We can just use the tank. Actually, we can just take the tank with us. And we can input this from the top. I think it went into one of our chests somewhere. Or in my inventory. Okay, they went into my inventory. So, we'll take this fluid, put it on top, and then we'll get this all started. So this, the input here, fluid, will have this pull, and that'll fill that up. And then all I have to do is define this recipe. So we'll just put 2 in here. It doesn't matter what order. 2 of these and 1 of these. And then we hit lock. And then we can put the items over here, and it will automatically pull in. When that's done, you'll see it starting to pull it back in. And then it'll just keep making them so you can work on other things. Now I'm going to be using some ender tanks, and a little tip when using your ender tanks, you can actually put the dye, the color wool that you want on top, and it'll actually take on that color automatically. So you don't have to go back in and use dyes on these. Of course, these 2 things are linked together, so they're basically the same tank, and we're going to use these for cross-dimensional transfer of our liquid meat. So once this tank is done, we will put this downstairs, and this will give us liquid meat, because we're actually going to need this for our farm elsewhere. So this will be a nice little farm that should be able to finish the job here. Of course, when I'm done, I'll just send this to push, and it's just going to push this back into the tank, clearing this area out. So we can use this for our other recipes. So I almost have everything I'm going to need. So I will move some latex over to here. So let's get some buckets. I'll be using buckets for this, I think, just to sort of fill it in anyways. But we also need pink slime. So pink slime is going to be pretty important. I need to make a couple of things. So I need to make furnaces, which is going to require the simple frame. It's done the exact same way I just made the other one. And then this requires an advanced machine frame. So this requires a simple machine frame, and it's just a upgrade from that. I'm going to make about 16 of these each, and that should work. This requires pink slime, so that's why we made it last episode. So with that made, we now should have everything we need. Let's actually take a look, though, at the quest, because it does seem like we are unlocking some things in Industrial Foregoing. We'll get a bucket of latex and the manual for making the fluid extractor. And it looks like we've gone through just about everything. Mob crusher, we're about to make. All right, so now mob crusher. Yeah, let's go to make this. This is a very powerful tool. The mob crusher is genius. I absolutely love the mob crusher. And this is going to allow us to harvest those mobs that we're going to be generating with the mechanical dirt. So I'm back in the nether setting all of this up, and well, I think I'm going to put it right here, and the glass is going to go right here. And so we are just going to have a little bit of an area of the mechanical dirt. So these actually connect together. So the interesting part is this is actually one unit. So that means we can pipe into any of these, and it is going to send fluid to all of them and also power to all of them. So you only have to interact with one. So I'm going to be setting up a mycelial generator right here. This is how this is going to receive power. So the goal is to have the blaze rods that this should be collecting, because blaze should spawn here. We should be able to take the blaze rods and feed them into this generator to generate the power. Now, of course, at first I'm going to have to feed this a couple of blaze rods to get it up and running. Now, I'm going to be moving everything around using Laser IO. Laser IO is going to be one of the best ways to do this. We're going to be moving fluids and everything with Laser IO. So what we can do is we can have a node right here for right now, and this node is going to act as the way we're actually going to get not only fluid moved around, but how we're going to route the items that drop from our mob crusher, which is going to go right here. And we also need to power this mob crusher, so we're going to be utilizing several different parts of this mod of Laser IO. We're going to be using it to transfer power. We're going to be using it to transfer fluid and everything. Now, I do need to get a laser. Let's see, right where this is at, right underneath here, we need to make sure we can get the laser going to here. So to get the nodes back and forth, so we'll have a node underneath here. And then to get the node from here to connect as one network, we'll put in a little laser connector. Now, of course, I'm going to have to be shrunk down in order to move back and forth. So thank goodness for the shrink mod. It really does make a huge difference. So let's go ahead and just link these together so we know how to do that. So we're going to connect this, shift right click to select, and then we just right click to connect. And then we can shift right click here to connect, and then right click to connect. So these are now connected to each other in a network. So now let's first hook up energy and the idea of energy and how we're going to actually hook these cards and get our energy cards working. So this is going to be generating power, and then it should automatically just send some of the power up. So we don't have to worry about a connection there. It's automatically going to be connected to it. But we do need to pull the power from the front and send it up here. So on this side, we can go ahead and click into it and put our energy card. And then we'll make sure to set it to extract. And then we're going to want to, it says right here, speeds per tick, 1000. We'll just leave it as default for right now, and we'll see if that's enough. Now, then we just need to connect it to an insert, which on this is going to be on the up. And so we just put the energy card there, and that should provide energy once we get power going to our crusher. Now, the next part is going to be working with fluids. We need to get fluid from our ender tank, which is being created in the overworld. And we need it to go into this mechanical dirt above it. So this one's actually really simple as well. On the bottom here, on the down, we are going to take our fluid and put it into extract. And then it's going to, of course, look for an insert. And so on the up here, we are going to put that in. And that should start feeding liquid meat into the mechanical dirt. And it feeds into all of it, like I said. So if you take a look, this whole thing is now feeding. And, well, it's starting to generate some mobs. Didn't actually want it generating mobs. Maybe I can stop this. I figured it also needed power. I think power makes it faster. I definitely need it to stop making mobs. Interestingly enough, a blaze did not spawn. I'm hoping blazes can spawn, but it is good news because that means mobs are spawning even with the torch in. Now we're almost done because we also want to transfer items around. So I'll put an ender chest here. This is linked to purple, and we need to transfer items from our mob crusher into this. And so let's go ahead and get that set up. That's going to be a couple of item transfer cards. So from our main, we need to go to the up, and then we need to extract. And so anything that this collects is going to be extracted and is going to look for an insert card. And then I'm going to set an insert card to our ender chest, but we also need a one over here as well. So the side that I'm selecting is the side that this insert needs to go onto. And then over here, this also needs an insert. Now, the item card over here is going to need a filter. And this is where we're going to do blaze rods. And I'm really hoping that blazes spawn in this, because if they don't, it's going to be incredibly frustrating trying to find another power source. I'm sure we can use like wither skeleton bones or something, or maybe even an ender generator. Either way, if that happens, all I will do is just change this filter and change the generator that we're using. Now, another thing I may want to do is increase the priority. If this works the way I think it does, it should be higher priority if it's anything like Ender.io. So, and I think we had messed around with priority before. So I'm hoping that's the case. So I'll set this to a higher priority, and this should all be ready to turn on. And we just have one last thing to do. We have to take this, the mob crusher, and we need to put a range upgrade in here to make sure that it can crush the mobs that are within its range. Nice. So let's go ahead and break this. And let's see things spawn. I still haven't put the power in, but it should be killing the mobs. So I hope. There we go. And it is not killing. Oh, that's right, because I haven't given it any power. I'm going to have to give it a blaze rod in order to get it jump started. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. So I got all of the stuff. Now let's go ahead and place that in this generator. And that'll get power up and running. This produces 80 RF per tick by default. And we should hopefully see power transferred around. That's what I'm hoping anyways. Aha, it is currently consuming all the power as of right now. But once this whole buffer fills up, which is 10,000 FE, it looks like for the entire unit, then it should jump into gear and start feeding it. All right, so there it goes. It has its power. And this now has power, and you can see it's already working. Now, this is producing essence, and so I do want to use an ender tank on it. And I want to send the fluid, the essence, up. And so that's going to put that into this ender tank, in which we are probably going to use in the overworld to store things. Now, is this farming blazes? That is really hard for me to see right now. But I think what I might end up doing is not only are we going to be using this dirt in the middle, I think we might have to we might have to also use cursed dirt, and we can put that all together. Let me try removing this and see if that allows for more mobs to spawn of different variants, because I'm just not getting blazes from this. So let's go ahead and make some GM chicken feed. GM chicken feed, right? And we are making this stuff. More of this. And I want to try and make 4 of them if I can. 4 rotten eggs. Or 3 rotten eggs. 3 rotten eggs is going to be fine. Because I want to try and fill in all that dirt. 2 of them may be actually worth it. Let's go ahead and get this guy. And then I'm so sorry. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. There was no chickens harmed in the making of this episode. I promise. Pinky swear. So, yeah, I don't know why, but the mechanical dirt is definitely not spawning. So that's all what testing is all about, though. But will this? That is the test. Oh, yes, this definitely spawns them. And there we go. So definitely dreadful dirt is the way to go over the mechanical spawners, at least in the nether. There's probably something in there making that make that work better. So yeah, I probably want to make a little bit more, maybe even remove the mechanical dirt setup. I don't know. It's producing ender pearls and some other things. So maybe I can keep it. It does produce wraiths as well. And I don't know how useful that's going to be. So I just did a test, and it does look like the blaze rods are filling this up. And once this completely fills up, then the blaze rods will start filling up this ender chest. And then we will have an abundance of ender rods. Wow. Of blaze rods. And our mob crusher, and this is all self-sufficient. Very nice. We can just let it run now. So after letting this run for a little bit, it looks like we are generating some more blaze rods, the souls, and now we're generating wither skull fragments, coal, it looks like ghast here somehow, and actual wither skulls. And we'd probably get more wither skulls if we were actually, if we had it switched over so we weren't generating the essence. You can actually flip it over so it generates more mob drops than essence. But there we go. I actually have it added to our mob farm and have it hooked in with this right here. I just am using the same setup where it's just pulling from here and just feeding right into our current drawer system. Now, the little logic setup that we just did for that mob farm are things that I love about modded Minecraft. Like, honestly, I love having a goal in mind and trying to figure out a way to do it and simplify it as much as possible. Like, that's what I find enjoyment in, and that's what we managed to do. Now, traveling back and forth between the nether and this dimension is kind of getting old, going through that portal over and over again. So I'm thinking about using Rftools as a means of getting from one place to another quickly. Now, I was looking through Rftools, and I remember Rftools definitely had a way of sending power from one location to another wirelessly. But it looks like in this current version, maybe in the 119 port, as of the time of me recording this, it has not been added or hasn't been ported yet. But the thing that has been ported is the matter transmitter and the matter receivers. These are very important and will allow us to get from one location to another, and including cross-dimensionally. So let's go ahead and set this up. So we'll have the matter transmitter and a dialing device set up in our world, and this is how we're going to teleport to the other dimension. So a dialing or a transmitter can go on the floor, then our dialing device can go up here on the wall, and it is going to automatically link to this. Now, I'm going to be powering it like so with our GPSs wirelessly. This is probably the most convenient way. And we're even going to do this in the nether. So let's go ahead and place these in here. And then that should get some power flowing, as you can see. Now, at the moment, it doesn't have any name, so we can call this main base. And that is going to store the name of our transmitter. So whenever we go to the other dimension, we know what our transmitter is going to be called. Now we also need a receiver, and the receiver I can place right here in the center of the room. And this will also need some wireless power. So let's name this main base respawn. So there we go. So main base respawn with 2 S's apparently. So this is going to be where we actually get back. And we should be able to now see that this says main base respawn. And we could click that and that would activate, and then it would just teleport us to this location. We're going to use this as a way to get cross-dimensional though. Now, we also have a charge porter. This is another way that we can actually teleport around as well. So let's go ahead and charge up the charge porter and get this going. There we go. And what I can do is I can shift right click on this matter receiver, and that is going to store this location. So no matter if we're cross-dimensional or what, we can always right click and get back. It does say this apparently does not have any power. Oh yeah, that's right. It does hurt us if it does not have power. Doesn't seem like it hurts us a whole bunch though. So let's put that in there and give it some power. We always want these to have some sort of power. There we go. Yeah, and I can just keep using this to transfer back and forth. Back in the nether here, and I should be able to place a node right next to this. And then that should be where we place our cards to get some power for this setup. And of course, I am going to tear this portal down. And let's hope that we don't get stuck here. I can always use my charge porter to get back, so I'm not super worried. But I definitely want to get this moved out of the way so I can get the rest of this placed in. So I got them all placed in, and now all I have to do is get them powered up. It's probably going to take all the power out of here because these things are power thirsty as far as filling up those storage buffers. But that ADRF should get this filled up before long. And now to get these up and running, all we have to do is select our main respawn and we'll dial. And we'll make sure that that is dialed. There you go. We see the green. Ooh, a bee is dropping all kinds of goodies over here. Whoa, what is going on? Yes, please. Drop more. Drop more integral components. Thank you. What in the world? It's just dropping all kinds of goodies today. All right, so all I have to do now is walk through this. So if I walk through, we get teleported back. Of course, the way that I really want to go is just to be able to walk through here and teleport to the nether base. So the nether base is going to be the matter receiver we have there. And as you can see, we're back and forth. There we are. Very cool. Now, the last thing we need to do to set up our mob empire is just to place down our jumbo tank. And let's go ahead and get our ender tank here set over. And then to get this to automatically feed, we just turn this, and this is going to automatically dump into this tank. And this is storing essence, which is a little different than regular experience. Essence is what is going to be used for industrial foregoing, and is going to be used in all of its enchanting stuff. So in today's episode, we definitely learned a lot. This is where experimenting really comes into play, right? Because I wouldn't have known if I would have just used mob grinding utils dirt. I wouldn't have known that, you know, the other method using industrial foregoing wasn't going to be very effective in the nether. So thankfully I did figure that out and did find that the best method for getting things to spawn is going to be using mob grinding utils, at least for getting blazes and things like that. So if you haven't set up your nether mob farm yet, well, I hope I saved you some time. Well guys, yet again, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and I hope you learned something new. If you did, be sure to slap that subscribe button as hard as you can. Just give it a good old thumping, you know? I would really appreciate it. Also give that thumbs up a good smack as well. And of course, guys, it is time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that, my friends, is going to be a huge thanks going out to Creative Builds. Thank you so much for your amazing support over on the Discord, becoming a beautiful Discord premium member. And let's take a look. Boom. Right here on this beautiful list. As it scrolls through, it'll be the next one. There you are. Creative Builds. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. More than you guys know, the support really does go a long ways. It's definitely a way for me to get outside of the grind that is the YouTube revenue system, which is sometimes just not always there. So having you guys backing me is definitely a beautiful and nice thing, and I do appreciate it very, very much. And so does my family. Well, guys, I can't wait to see you in the next episode, and you know how it goes. As always, thanks for watching. Oh boy, now the trouble has started. I'm just gonna be going back and forth from now on in an infinite loop.